to ask for whatever assistance you require in your own life at this time. Share your heart of hearts with God and the angels. For a few quiet moments now, share your heart of hearts with God and the angels.
My name is Roy Hunter, and I came here to Trance out in Tunisia all the way from Seattle, Washington. I first studied hypnotherapy under the late Charles Stevens in 1983, so I have been practicing for almost a quarter of a century now. Hardly seems possible. I am the published author of several books, including The Art of Hypnosis and The Art of Hypnotherapy, and more recently, Hypnosis to Conflict Resolution and Division Parts Therapy. My focus here this week was to help people learn how to access that part of the subconscious that's most closely connected to God or their perception of higher power with some profound results. I have been privileged to facilitate this type of work occasionally through the years, and sometimes some of the most profound results that come from this type of session, which I call soul-centered spiritual transfer. Any of you interested in coming to Tunisia next year, I would strongly advise you to do so. You'll find it to be a very wonderful, enjoyable, and spiritual experience as well as a professional one. So, come trance out. Let me move on here. Overcoming unresolved past grief. Interesting story to share there is when I facilitate a past life regression, I also consider that soul-centered trance work. So in facilitating a past life regression, if the client doesn't go through the time tunnel or walk across the bridge that crosses a river of time or go through the cloud, because I'll offer several different techniques and let my client choose the one he or she feels that will most likely work. What happens is I will attempt one other technique and I'll make the choice intuitively. And if the client still does not respond to the PLR, instead of pushing it, I'll go with the flow. So this one lady had called me up requesting a past life regression, and she comes in with her psychotherapist present. And her psychotherapist wanted to witness this past life regression that she was going to have with this man she didn't know from Adam. Her request was simply to go back in time and find out if she lived a past life with her daughter. So she chose the river of time, and as I had her walk across the bridge across time, she says, "There's a man in the middle of the bridge blocking my way." Now, the human tendency would be to get someone to walk around the man that's blocking the way, but instead, I said, "Who is he?" All of a sudden, she burst into tears. She said, "It's my father." And what started out as a past life regression ended up being unresolved grief therapy, because her father had apparently passed away when she was a teenager, and she had never, ever been able to deal with that. And at that time, when I had her start doing the Gestalt role play with her father, her psychotherapist goes through twice as many tissues as my client. It turns out, and I didn't know it until after the session, the psychotherapist had been trying to convince her for 6 months to deal with the unresolved grief that she had bottled up and suppressed. And she kept telling her psychotherapist, "I've dealt with that. I don't need to deal with that. I've released it." Well, she released him consciously, but her inner child had never healed from the loss of her father, because there was some unresolved stuff that needed to be resolved. And by having her role play with her father, it helped resolve those issues. Now, we can sit here and speculate. Was she fantasizing all of this? Did it take place in the imagination? Or was she actually communicating with the spirit of her late father? The answer?
Doesn't matter.
I don't know, but the best answer is it doesn't matter. The hypnotherapy instructor part of me says, well, it was the benefit of the Gestalt role play, and it was probably a confabulation in her subconscious that allowed her a way to bless and release her father. And yet the spiritual part of me wonders if maybe the soul of her late father actually chose to participate in this latest session, because what happened was so profoundly healing that I got wet eyes before the session was finished. The dialogue went on a good 20 to 30 minutes, and the gist of it was her father said, it was my time, I fulfilled my life mission, I wanted to stay around longer, but there was a risk that I would backslide some of what I learned spiritually if I stayed in that life longer. So when God called me home, I went, even though I wasn't ready to. But it's important for you to realize that my love will always be with you. You can always call on the memories of our good times together, but it's important that you bless me and release me and realize my work in that life was done. You still have work to do. And then, this was a real gotcha to me, because I loved the movie E.T. years ago. She says, in role-playing the energy of her father, I am right here. In your mind, in your heart, and in your soul, my memories and my love will always be with you. But you must move on and bless me and release me and make it so. And the psychotherapist just choked up, even worse than my client at that point in time, and actually started sobbing. And at this moment, I'm wondering if they're both in trance. So, needless to say, when this was finished, it was obvious to me that this was not the day to do a past life regression, because she got what she needed, even though the request was for a past life regression. Higher power had something else in mind for her. So, her father left with the angels, and she turned around and walked back on this side of the bridge across the river of time. Comes up out of hypnosis, and she's just sitting there. I'm speechless. I'm just totally amazed at what happened. And the psychotherapist was the one who spoke first and said, I have been trying to get her to deal with this for months, and in one session you got her to do what I wasn't able to get her to do. And I looked and I said, I think there was a higher power involved in what happened in this office today. And both ladies were nodding in agreement. So a month later she came in and had her past life regression. And about 5 weeks after that, the psychotherapist came in and had her. So those are my comments on overcoming unresolved.
My name is Anna Loughlin, and it's hard to describe what I am actually, because I hate to put labels on people. I am a this, I am a that, I am a the other. So I'll tell you where I work. I work in Dublin, mainly in Ashburn is where my main clinic, and at times in County Clare. I do, best way to put what I do is I do God's work, I can put it like that. Using tools of hypnotherapy, psychotherapy, chakras, energy medicine, theta healing, and any other forms that I may get in from a spiritual nature. So I'm mainly a channel. I'm channeled, God would channel to me and give me the message. So I kind of feel as if I have got a wealth of helpers who are totally looking after me. I'm involved with the hypnotherapy under Joe Keeney for the last 10 years. And when Joe, last year, he set up Tunisia as a place where we could explore spirituality and bring enlightenment to other like-minded people. Winnie asked me this year to know if I would be part of that, because Joe would be well aware since I met him that energy is what I'm all about. We couldn't breathe if we didn't have energy. So when he asked me, I didn't even hesitate about coming here. I thought, wow, at last, Joe, you're getting this in. So the areas that I worked on when I was here was chakra balancing, energy medicine, and theta healing. We all have chakras, and if any one of our chakras, we have 7 main chakras, if any one of our chakras are out of balance, our whole life, body, everything is out of balance. The same way with the energy medicine. With energy, if our energy is out of balance, we're out of balance. And theta healing is a very, very special way of healing. Theta is a level of hypnotherapy. So you go from beta onto alpha, and then way up onto theta, and you connect directly with God. You give your request, God looks after it, whether it has to be manifested, pulled, whatever level, and they are done on 4 levels, on a history, a genetic, a DNA, and a core belief. And once they're removed, whatever may be blocking you, and once they're removed of any of those levels, whatever it is you're looking for can be yours. And I'm a firm believer in life that whatever you want, coming through from your own true energy, that if you really want it, you've been given the tools by God to have that. So that whatever you want, if you believe you have it, without an inner doubt, it will come about for you. And that's what Tunisia has been for me this week. It has been the most wonderful experience. It's very difficult for me to put into words, but I'll put it in one word: love. Love for myself, being connected with everyone around me, love for life, love for God, just pure, really love within my heart. And I hand that out. Thank you.
So as Katrina has told you, she normally takes blame for whatever. If it goes wrong, yes, and you go and see what you have done wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
And Katrina does this time and time again. So, first of all, it makes you take the blame for most things. You lose your power.
Lose my power. I feel that it's my responsibility to change me as opposed to
Yeah,
actually
okay. Now, one thing I want to do, and I'm going to start with Katrina, and whoever is the nearest out to the door, Katrina's energies are just all over the place. So they're out everywhere, so I can check here. Whoever is the furthest back there, just stand up, someone. Peter, Bill, will you just stand up, and I just threaten, and where Bill is are Katrina's energies as far as that, yeah? Bill, would you do me a favour and go out towards the door? So the first thing I'm going to do is chop her energy. She's too broad. She's no, like anything affects her. She's very sensitive. Okay? Outside the door, Bill. Please.
Bye, Bill.
Yeah. Bill, it's okay. You can come in. I can actually say, Bill, you can come in. Bill, you can come in now. I'm going to actually say the hotel we're in is Katrina's energies as far as there. And the answer is yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop the energy. So I'm going to, this is enough for her. I'm going to chop it here. And I'm going to chop it here. Okay, that's as far as we're going to let you know. Just more or less your own space. Because everything affects, if you're very sensitive,